Hello, 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 Jolly Julian here, coming to you with some more VR goodness today. I want to dive in right away into what I would consider to be the 9 best games and experiences for the Quest 2 and Quest 3 right now in 2024. My goal is to come up with something that everyone can enjoy, whether you like first-person shooters, or you like adventure games, or puzzle games, or if you just like hanging around and enjoying lovely vistas and stuff like that. There is something out there for you on the Quest 2 and the Quest 3. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly, but remember, each and every one of these games is available to you on the Quest 2 and the Quest 3 headset right now natively, so you don't even have to have a computer to play it on. You can play it directly through the headset. Once again, I'm Jolly Julian, and if you like this video, please click like, click on subscribe. If you like anything you're seeing here, I'm going to be bringing you more videos like this. If you like my energy, great. If you don't, that's okay. You don't have to subscribe. You can click away. That's all right. I understand it's not for everyone. But if you're enjoying this at all, I'm looking forward to bringing you more and more of these videos. So now let's jump in and let's virtual our reality. These are the 9 best experiences for the Quest 2 and the Quest 3 right now, in no particular order. And I'm going to start with what I would consider to be the best immersion. Now, this is a tough one because almost every experience I've done in virtual reality has been incredibly immersive. But there's one that keeps coming up into my mind when I think of what was one of the most immersive experiences where I was just brought in on every level of my being, and that is Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. This is an incredible game. It really is. I mean, if you've ever seen the TV show Walking Dead, or if you've read the graphic novels or anything like that, you know that it takes place around a zombie apocalypse. Not the most pleasing thing to be involved in, but man, this brings you into that world in ways that I never would have thought possible. For example, the ability to go into this game, walk up to a zombie, grab it with one hand, and then with your other hand, take a knife off your hip and stab it in the side of the head. And then when you let go of the head, the body just hangs on the knife until you pry it back. I'm sorry. I know that sounds really creepy and it makes me feel really weird saying it, but that makes me giggle with joy every single time. Because that feeling, you can't get that with a mouse and a keyboard. But grabbing it, and the use of the guns in it and everything, and the world that they have created, the sound design, everything about Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is absolutely top-notch. And they've gone and they've created a Chapter 2, which is Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Retribution. Now, I have not played through Retribution yet. I've only just started it. I'm enjoying it very much as well. But I've played all the way through the original Walking Dead Saints and Sinners 2 or 3 times. I cannot recommend this game highly enough. And it's on the Quest 2 and the Quest 3 native. No computer needed. Incredible, can't recommend it highly enough. Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. Next up, it's best FPS game or first-person shooter. Now, don't stop here. If you're not a first-person shooter person, that's kind of redundant. If you're not a first-person shooter person, then that's okay. I get it. I'm a pacifist.
Oh, damn thing won't stay in the holster. Whoop! I must have a spring in there. Oh, come on, kid. Let's just play poker.
I'm not a gun person myself. The fact that I enjoy first-person shooters at all kind of surprises me. But, you know, I can separate reality from the game and not have any problem there. But I understand if it's not your cup of tea. And I'll have something later in this video that I'm sure will be much more your cup of tea. But for first-person shooters, it's so subjective. Each person has a very different opinion of what makes a great first-person shooter. Sometimes they want it to just be arcadey, like something like Pavlov, where you're just running and shooting and you have unlimited ammo, and that's great. Some others might like something like Onward, where you're working as a squad and it's very tactical and you're moving kind of slowly and being very cautious. And then there is what I would consider to be the best first-person shooter out there right now, and it's on the Quest 2 and Quest 3 natively, and that is Ghosts of Tabor. Holy cow, this game is intense, it's realistic. Every time I play it, I feel tense, and that may not sound pleasurable, but there's something about going into one of those games and actually really not wanting to die in that game. And other first-person shooters, I don't quite get that feeling. I mean, yeah, I'm bummed if I lost or whatever, but in Ghost of Tabor, what makes it so wonderful is its sense of realism. That whatever gear you bring into the game, if you don't survive that raid, you lose all of that gear, and you have to either purchase it again, in-game, or you have to do a raid and collect it again. So there's this sense of stakes to that game. Plus, the realism of it is unparalleled. The guns are very realistic and very comparable to their real-world counterparts. At least that's what I've heard. The way they load, each one has different magazines. You have to make your own ammo. And you can play in squads with up to 3 people, so you can bring 2 friends in with you. It's very tactical, kind of slower paced, and very tense. This game, I almost returned it myself. I wasn't sure I was going to hang on to it, because when I started playing, I'm like, I just don't think this is for me. It's too realistic. And it's very hard. It's a hard game. But when you start to get even remotely good at it, it is incredibly rewarding. So just before I was going to return it, I kept playing, and about the 2-hour mark, I was like, something clicked. And now it is the first-person shooter I go back to. I play a little bit of it, it seems, almost every single day. Ghost of Tabor, get it, and get ready to be tensified. You will be incredibly tense as you play this game. So much fun. Next up is what I would like to call the best multiplayer experience. This one's tough because, man, there are a lot of great multiplayer experiences out there. I just talked about one. Ghost of Tabor is an incredible multiplayer experience, but the one experience that I have that all of my VR friends have and that they all like, it's the one we all love to play, is Walkabout Mini Golf. I know, mini golf, I mean, really, it's so much fun. Every single one of my friends that has it, my father loves playing it. My friends who don't like first-person shooters love playing it. Others who don't even like video games love getting in there and playing it because it feels so much like you're really playing miniature golf. The physics are mind-blowing. I don't know how they created the engine that does the physics of this game, but the balls react exactly like it feels a real miniature golf ball would react when you hit it with the putter, and the bank shots and everything. It is incredible. And it's a great social experience because you can play with up to 7 friends. 8 of you can be in there together at the same time. And you're just talking and having a great time, and it's nice and low key. Nobody feels stressed. We're just having a great time. Plus, on top of that, you can hunt for balls. So if you want to collect different golf balls, you can find them hidden throughout each of the holes. And you can do what are called the treasure hunts, or fox hunts, I think they call them. But they're treasure hunts to get different putters. So there's really something in it for everybody. And they're coming out with new courses almost every month or two. They come up with a new course. It is the game that keeps on giving. Walkabout Mini Golf. Get it. Play it, enjoy it. Next up, it's time for Best Rhythm Game. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've probably heard of this little game called Beat Saber, right? It is probably the single most popular virtual reality app game experience out there. It is constantly topping the boards for most sales each and every month. But that's not my favorite. Now, granted, I haven't played a lot of Beat Saber. I did play a little bit of it very early on. I did the demo of it and so forth. It is fun, and I understand why people love it so much. But there's a rhythm game that I like even more, and that is Synth Riders. Synth Riders, Synth Riders, Riders of the Synth. I think that should be their theme song. I don't know. But hey, if you like it, use it. I don't know. But anyway, Synth Riders, I do this every day as part of my exercise. It's a great cardio workout where you're basically hitting these colored orbs that are coming at you, and you have to hit them with your hands to the rhythm. And sometimes there are rails that you have to ride, and you have to hit them with the correct hand. Sometimes your hands are crossing. It's so hard to describe, and on the surface, it does not seem like it would be as much fun and as enjoyable as it is, but it really is a wonderful rhythm game experience. There's lots of different song packs that you can play. Some of them are free, some of them are downloadable content, and there's even ways to download custom songs that have been submitted by people who just love the game. So if there's a particular song you like, one of my favorite ones to do is Thriller. The song Thriller. Again, it's great exercise, it's great fun. You can do it with multiple people, so you can bring friends in. Synth Riders, if you want a great rhythm game, it's the one I cannot recommend enough, largely because it makes me feel like I'm kind of dancing when I'm playing it, you know? Okay, I hope I look... I'm sure I look really sexy when I do this, right?
You go dancing, you do the white man's overbite.
But I mean, I feel like I'm dancing when I'm playing Synth Riders. It just gets me really into it in a way that other rhythm games haven't quite done to that degree. Synth Riders, Riders of the Synth. Next up is the best chill experience. Another tough one because there are so many good ones. You know, Google Earth is a great one, but that's not available on the Quest. You have to do that through PC VR. I think there's Wander, though, that is kind of like that. You know, there are a lot of chill experiences out there, but the best one for me so far, the one I've enjoyed the most, is one called Vermilion. And it's an oil painting simulator in VR. Yes, you literally are going to be watching paint dry. How exciting is that? I gotta tell you, I don't have an artistic bone in my body when it comes to painting, sketching, anything like that. My stick people don't look like stick people. But when I got this for the first time and I just sat down with this blank canvas in front of me and the brushes really feel like you're brushing on the canvas and you can mix the paints and the look of it and the feel is so realistic, I got into it in a way, I lost like 2.5 hours the first time I got into it. Just sitting there painting, just doing abstract weird stuff. Since then I've done a painting of a sailboat that I kind of liked. I mean, I thought it looked okay. It was pretty good. I did a mountain, you know, a mountain scene, kind of like a Bob Ross kind of a thing. Thought that turned out pretty good. And I did a rocket ship, you know, and you know, they're not great. They're not gonna, you know, they're gonna hang in any museums. Boy, was it a great chill experience to just, you know, come down from the crazy day, get in there and just do something artistic and just have some fun and just lose some time doing something that just centers you. So get Vermilion, give it a try. It's really, really wonderful. Can't recommend it highly enough. Next up is best full scope experience. Full scope game, like a AAA game that you can sink 60, 70, 100 hours into and has a long storyline and all that. And I am talking about Asgard's Wrath 2. Oh my goodness, this game. I've only scratched the surface on this game. I'm not going to lie. I'm nowhere near through this game. And I am thoroughly enjoying it. The variety that it has of fighting mechanics, puzzle solving mechanics, exploration mechanics. But Asgard's Wrath is so cool. It's very involving. The closest thing I can compare it to is if you've ever played Skyrim. It's kind of along those lines as far as just the scope of it. Skyrim's gotten huge with mods and things like that over the years, and that's only available to play on the PC. But here on the Quest 2 and the Quest 3, you can play Asgard's Wrath all the way through. And they say that there's anywhere from 70, 80 to 120 hours worth of material in there. So you're not going to get bored. You're not going to run out. You can really dive into it and live in that world. If you like fantasy kind of RPG kind of games that really challenge you, Asgard's Wrath will scratch that itch. Time for best puzzler. I love puzzles. I love brain teasers and things like that. In virtual reality, there's nothing like being in the world of the puzzle. Now, there's one that I was going to call my favorite, and that is one called Form. It was one of the first VR experiences I did a good 6-7 years ago. Problem is, it's not available on the Quest 2 and Quest 3. It's only available on PC VR, and it is a really wonderful, if short, experience. But the one I'm going to recommend is The Room VR, A Dark Matter. This had me... It was challenging every bit of my puzzle solving because what it does is it kind of combines puzzle solving with escape room mechanics, but does it in a fantasy way where you could never do it in real life. It utilizes aspects of physics and magic and things like that to create an experience that you could never do in the real world. And I think that's one of the powers of virtual reality, right? Escaping from reality into this virtual world. This is a great puzzler. It really makes you work. I don't think the puzzles are too easy, but I also don't think they're not impossible. So I don't think you're ever going to feel like you can't do it, but you got to take, it probably took me, 4 or 5 hours, maybe more, to get through it. And I took my time, though, because I really wanted to enjoy the environments as well. The environments are absolutely fantastic, too. It's a feast for all the senses, and it really is a feast for the brain. Check it out. All right. How about, what if you're a movie buff? or you're a TV buff, you know, and you want a great way to consume media. Big Screen VR, it's free. It's on the Quest 2 and the Quest 3. And you can go in there and you can join other people's movie theaters where they're watching different movies and so forth. And it's like you're in an actual movie theater. They have multiple different movie theater designs and looks and so forth. It is so amazing how much it feels like you're in that actual space with other people. You can invite your friends into your room and watch things together. You can watch movies that you have on your device and you can share them with other people. It's a fantastic way to watch 3D movies. 3D movies have never looked better than they do in virtual reality, in my opinion, especially when you get the Quest 3, which has even the better optics, the better lenses, the bigger sweet spot and everything. It just looks fantastic, but it looks great on the Quest 2 as well. So check out Big Screen VR. Bring some friends in. Watch a movie. I just watched Back to the Future. Yes, I'm old enough that Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies of all time. I remember seeing it in theaters in the 80s. I loved it. I had some friends, some of who had seen it before, some who had not, and we watched it together, and it was a great experience. Thank you, Big Screen VR, for the media consumption smorgasbord that you've created for us all. And last but not least, we got to go with kind of the best social platform, if you will. Now, some of the things I talked about earlier, like Walkabout Mini Golf and even Big Screen VR, right? Those are social experiences as well. But we can't not talk about VR chat. I don't do a lot of the things that a lot of people do in VR chat, where they're going in with lots of other people and having raves and going to comedy rooms where, you know, comedians are doing their bits and doing karaoke and all these big things with lots of people. It's a little too chaotic for me. But what's great about it is you can also create your own instance of a room and just invite your friends in and you can just hang. There's wonderful environments that you can just sit around and chill on the beach together, you know, and just talk. The possibilities are endless. The worlds that have been created by the users of VR chat are mind-blowing. You could lose hours, days, weeks just exploring the different worlds, even if you just explored them yourself. But where VR chat really excels is in its ability to be a social platform and a place for people to get together and enjoy these experiences together. So that wraps up the 9 best games and experiences for the Quest 2 and the Quest 3 right now, in my humble opinion. Now, did I miss something that you feel should have been on that list? Was there something on that list that you disagree with? Please comment below. I'm going to respond to every comment that comes in. That is my goal. So far, with every video I've done, I've responded to every comment because this is about us having conversations. We're not all going to agree. We shouldn't all agree. And we should be able to have wonderful conversations about it. And I want to hear what your favorite experiences have been, even in any of these areas that we've talked about or any other areas of virtual reality as well. Thank you so much for watching. Again, comment below, subscribe if you enjoyed this at all. I would not ask you to subscribe. Don't do it for me. Do it for yourself if you enjoyed any of this, and I will keep bringing you the best possible content that I can. If you can't tell, I love virtual reality. I'm so passionate about this. I just want to share it with others. So everybody take care. Again, I'm Jolly Julian, and let's virtual our reality. Till next time.